The Common Application provides a variety of prompts, and students only have to respond to one. Still, it's worth examining all of your options and trying to decode the prompts individually to really understand what the Common Application is trying to pull from you in response. So steel yourself for some epic prompt dissection. We're going in. The Common Application's first prompt, which we'll call prompt number 1, reads as follows. Some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. The Common App's prompt number 1 is the old faithful of essay questions. It's been around for years and offers all the flexibility an applicant could ask for from a prompt, with just enough direction to get those creative fountains flowing. It allows you to address pretty much any subject you want as long as your application would be incomplete without it. By the way, regardless of the prompt you choose, if you're not writing about something that adds crucial new perspective to your application, you're doing it wrong. Focus on the keywords background, identity, interest, and talent, and use them as launch points for your brainstorming. What about your history, personality, hobbies, or accomplishments might be worth highlighting for an admissions officer? It can be something as small as seeing an episode of a television show, or as large as the struggle of moving to a foreign country. The most important thing to consider for this prompt is that your subject and/or perspective is dynamic and specific to you and no one else. Did a Wednesday night family bowling tradition help shape the way you think about family, teamwork, and the power of rituals? Does your crazy dyed blue hair define you? Did going to a Picasso exhibit inspire you to start an art collection that has since expanded beyond the borders of your bedroom? How would you define yourself? What about your history or background sets you apart from your peers? What funny story do you tell friends and family over and over again, and why do you think it always comes up? How are these stories and qualities representative of who you are at your core? Now let's move on to prompt number 2, which reads, the lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn from the experience? We at College Essay Academy have always believed that essays about overcoming obstacles are most effective when they focus more on the solutions and less on the problems. Accordingly, students' responses to prompt number 2 should be directed at a student's outlook and demeanor when presented with one of life's many hurdles. An applicant should aim to showcase qualities like resilience, determination, and humility. The obstacles you choose to explore can vary widely in nature. They can be as serious as being tormented by bullies, as anxiety-producing as the financial issues that have plagued your family for years, or as seemingly pedestrian as a mistake that costs you a tip while waiting tables. While the possibilities are almost endless, students should be careful not to choose challenges that may seem trite. The inability to achieve an A on an exam and/or secure tickets to that Drake concert, or that illustrate a lapse in good judgment, that time you crashed your car, that time you tried to eat 100 bags of cheese puffs in a row for no reason. Oh wait, that was us again. Still, if you can isolate an incident of trial in your life and how you learned from it, this can be a rewarding prompt to explore. Has a lifelong battle with stuttering ultimately increased your overall confidence and allowed you to participate in public forums without self-judgment? Did a parent's fragile health situation challenge you to take on more responsibilities than the average teenager? Did your failure to follow directions lead you to a botched home science experiment and an appreciation for a balance of creativity and planned procedure? Overall, try to keep these stories as positive as possible. Remember, these essays are not just contemplative musings on your toughest times or reflections on the hiccups that populate everyday life, though those things can certainly be touched upon. They are also about overcoming obstacles and refusing to submit to life's greatest challenges. And now, prompt number 3, which reads, reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. What prompted your thinking? What was the outcome? This is perhaps the most challenging prompt of the Common App selection, as it requires you to speak passionately about beliefs and ideology. These are amorphous topics that can be difficult to mold into compact stories, and this is often one of the hardest prompts to steer in a positive, productive direction without traveling into preachy, overly didactic territory. That said, responses to this prompt can be incisive and deeply personal. They can also be quite controversial, and you need to carefully assess the risks of espousing beliefs that might be polarizing for the readers of your application. But if this prompt jumps out at you because you have a very specific story to tell or opinion to voice, run with it. When has your opinion been unpopular? Did an experience with cyberbullying lead you to confront your school's lax internet policies? Why are you the kind of person who is willing to stand up for what you believe in? What is important to you on a fundamental level of morals and values? These are some of the questions to which this prompt seeks answers and insight. Now on to prompt number 4, which reads, describe a problem you've solved or a problem you'd like to solve. It can be an intellectual challenge, a research query, an ethical dilemma, anything that is of personal importance no matter the scale. Explain its significance to you and what steps you took or could be taken to identify a solution. This prompt is similar to prompt number 2 in that it is meant to tease out your problem-solving skills and provide a glimpse into your frame of mind when dealing with challenges. But this question provides a few bonus opportunities for creative expression, leaving both the scale and the time frame for setting up a problem solution wide open. Try to think about everything from more traditional obstacles you've had to overcome to the small predicaments that have inspired you to think about what you really value. Has your love of nature inspired you to start a charity to help save local endangered species? Did your desire to make a stronger shoelace launch you on an entrepreneurial adventure you never fully anticipated? You could also consider this prompt from an aspirational perspective. How might you positively contribute to a cause that is important to you? If you had the power to make a lasting impact in any area at all, what would it be? It's important that the problem you choose is linked to your life and world in a meaningful way. For example, our problem would likely involve dinosaurs. Remember, the whole purpose of this exercise is to reveal something valuable about yourself to admissions. And don't forget to detail at least a few steps you would or could take to solve your chosen quandary. And now for prompt number 5, which reads, discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself or others. This prompt offers endless choices and flexibility. In asking about a period of personal growth, it leaves the lessons and timing of the transformation an applicant might discuss relatively open-ended. Keep in mind that accomplishment and event are words that leave themselves open to interpretation. A formal event or accomplishment might encompass anything from obvious landmarks like birthdays and weddings to achievements like earning an award or receiving a promotion. More informal examples might include something as simple as meeting a special person in your life, taking a car ride, or eating a particularly meaningful meal. We've often found that the smaller, less formal events make for more surprising and more memorable essays. But as with any of the other prompts, as long as you can answer with originality and put a unique twist on your subject matter, all ideas, formal and informal, big and small, are fair game. Students are also free to reflect on a realization in addition to an event or occurrence. That said, a realization that changes your understanding of the world will likely arise from a concrete occurrence, i.e., an event or accomplishment. Ask yourself, when have you had a eureka moment? And how has it impacted the way you have lived your life thereafter? When did you learn something that made you feel more grown up? Have you learned to love the football team playback sessions that force you to routinely examine your mistakes, but also to welcome constructive criticism? When you got your license and started to drive to school on your own, did you miss those regular car rides after school with your mom? What did you learn about your desire for independence on that first ride alone? The most important thing to keep in mind when searching for these moments is the transition and transformation. The event or accomplishment you discuss should be something that helped you understand the world around you through a different, more mature lens. Next up, we have prompt number 6, which reads, describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. Why does it captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more? This prompt was built to highlight a student's inner nerd, which we love because we're nerds. College, one could argue, is largely about the pursuit of knowledge, so you can imagine it would be quite appealing for an admissions officer to have a meter for your level of self-motivated learning, along with a better understanding of how and why you choose to pay attention to the things that intrigue you. This is a full-on peek into your brain, how you process information, how you seek out new sources of content and inspiration. How resourceful are you when your curiosity is piqued to the fullest? The answer to this prompt should also reveal something to admissions about the breadth or depth of your interests. For example, if you're interested in studying astrophysics, you might choose to discuss a concept that shows how far your exploration of the sciences truly reaches. How consumed are you by this passion you are choosing to pursue academically? What floats your boat? Do you have an appetite for knowledge about something specific? What do you love, and why do you love it? What lengths have you gone to in order to acquire new information about a topic of interest? Did getting an internship at an accounting firm inspire you to start each day by checking the markets? Have you taught yourself to master the compositions of Mozart and Beethoven and break down the songs of Bruno Mars by ear in your spare time? Whatever you're into, embrace it. Let your freak flag fly. Within reason, obviously. This prompt is about the pursuit of knowledge and your desire to challenge yourself. Whether you are devouring the classics on your Kindle or nerding out over the perfect cheese for calzone making, your attachment to a subject may inspire admissions to want to learn more about your passion and you. Last but not least, we have prompt number 7, which reads, share an essay on any topic of your choice. It can be one you've already written, one that responds to a different prompt, or one of your own design. Feared by some, coveted by others, and legendary in its existence regardless of where you stand on the issue, the Common App now includes an any flavor you wish essay option. The topic of your choice prompt represents the ultimate freedom in essay subject selection. Once you've dug up your custom topic from the depths of your creative brain, we recommend defining it in the form of an actual prompt or question. You can always include your DIY prompt at the start of your essay for added context, and working backwards in this way will allow you to wrap your head around exactly what you are trying to accomplish with the subject you've chosen and the essay you have created. While being able to write about whatever you wish sounds great in theory, some students find, especially at the beginning of the brainstorming process, that they are debilitated by the topic of your choice option because it offers too much choice. Start by considering what you want admissions to know about you that they wouldn't be able to glean from your transcript, test scores, or teacher recommendations. If you had 10 minutes alone in a room with an admissions officer, what would you want to talk about or tell him or her about yourself? What would you bring to a college campus that no one else would or could? Were you born with a congenital eye defect that literally, and metaphorically, affects how you see the world? Do you spend 40 minutes each Friday night tutoring a class of elementary school students in Cambodia? And how has that impacted the way you meet out your time and assess your commitments? Did your parents let your older brother choose your name? What was his inspiration? What does your name represent for you? And how has it impacted your interactions in the world? If, after ruminating on all those questions and examples, you are still stumped by prompt number 7's broad parameters, fear not. Use some of the other prompts as starting points for your brainstorming and free writing journeys. Begin keeping a diary and jot down subjects, events, and memories as they float to the surface. Now that you have traveled through our handy-dandy prompt guide and understand what admissions is looking for from these prompts, you could very well have a notebook filled with ideas that are ripe for expansion by the time you sit down to write.